now let's try that. I didn't have the microphone on. Running behind, running around. Totally my fault. Say hi, Monica.
Hello. I can't hear you. Does that mean anything?
No, it doesn't mean
Okay.
anything. So I'm Ryan.
I'm Monica,
Welcome to Teenagers, Toddlers, and Twins.
of which we have all.
So talk to everybody as they get everything set up. So how was your day?
A little hectic. Jade's been quarantined, so she is home doing school. I'm home doing school, so we're just rolling with the punches every day on that one.
Hard are the punches.
They come and go.
But Jade was fine yesterday, wasn't she?
She's been much better than expected. I will say that. She was not great during her small group lesson today because she was upset that she wasn't in a small group with her friends.
What was it today? A big group?
No, they have whole group, and then they'll have 2 days of small group. Don't worry, you'll find out tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. I'm home for it tomorrow. So if you see me keep looking to my right, it's because I'm trying this. We haven't really gotten to try it live. Richard, if you're watching, call me if you can't hear me or if the chat's going wrong. So tonight we're going to be talking about the book of parenting because Monica and I know everything about parenting, right?
Everything.
Everything about parenting. Wrong.
No.
There's no fucking one way to do it, is there?
No.
How much of it is learning as you go?
Every day is different.
And how much did I think I knew having a 15-year-old and I'm still learning along the way?
Did you see my major eye roll? Because
the power might go out?
No, my major eye roll was because I can't tell you how many times I heard before Jade was born. Well, you don't know. You're not a parent.
Okay, so before we get into the deeper conversations, is there anything that you've learned since where you're like, oh, okay, he's kind of right. I didn't know this or that, or
Well, I think that's life in general when you don't know somebody's walk until you've walked in their shoes.
Right.
Entirely.
Right.
I mean, I did and I do know kids because that's my profession. And at the time I was teaching around Alexis's age. So I knew what was going down with the kids from a teacher's perspective, but not a parenting every day, all day perspective. No.
But it's so funny that you say that. And I say that a lot, if you haven't noticed by now. Because there was a lot of times that you started steering the ship with Alexis when I was like, what's going on? And you were like, relax. This is what the trend is, or this is what the app is, or something like that.
And you are a dad. So sometimes dads shy away from certain topics with their daughters.
No.
So
not me.
Sometimes the mom or a motherly figure needed to step in on certain areas where you're like, no, just like the phone we were talking about. Nope, not going there, not doing that.
Yeah, no, definitely needed your help with that. And moms and dads, I openly admit, I admitted it last time Monica and I were together. Yeah, the cell phone, I was just like, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Sure it's fine. And Monica was like, we need to check. And I was like, no, okay, you check. I don't.
Until she ended up for the second time in guidance. Then you should have listened.
Then I should have listened. Mm-hmm. So yes, if you're listening, this is what I was waiting to get to since I started promoting this episode, the book of parenting. There's so much to parenting, whether it be a toddler, twins, a teenager. Everybody parents their own way, right? And everybody's like, yeah, okay, we kind of know that, right? So I want to talk a little bit first about what I've learned since the boys have been born. What I've learned about moms since the boys have been born. Okay, and I do say moms because I'm going to use some examples here. So the first one, and I want you to explain this to dads and moms and just how you were feeling, and maybe new moms or moms to be or people who are trying to become moms, parents. The first example that comes to mind is, you remember we were going to Ocean City one day, right? Monica's doing a great job. The boys are in a routine. Jade's in a routine. We have the new car. Everything's going right. And on this particular morning, Monica was a little stressed. And we started driving. It was quiet. It was awkward. The kids were asleep. Finally, Monica says to me, you said something like, I'm always second guessing myself. I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm doing it right, if I'm doing it wrong. Meanwhile, the boys are in a routine. They're eating, they're happy, they're fed, they're sleeping normally, they're eating normally. But what goes through a mom's head in general? Because like I'm saying, it wasn't until the boys this time around where I just learned that moms are just straight up wired differently.
I think the biggest difference between moms and dads is that moms 100% carry the mental load of what needs to get done, how it needs to get done, how things need to proceed, thinking about the next day's lunch, thinking about 5 years from now if their head's still going to be flat.
Real quick, I'm sorry. And moms hate lunch. I learned that.
Hate.
Moms
making
hate
lunch.
making lunch
All
for school.
I think every mom I know hates making lunch.
Is that a thing in mommy groups?
Yes.
That I learned that like moms hate making lunch. So
It's such a tedious task. I don't know. My dad made lunches.
your mom didn't make lunches?
No, my dad made them like the night before, and I don't know if that. No, it can't even be like that.
So I learned that moms don't like making lunches.
Yes.
But as you were saying about the mentality and moms carrying not just the
They
physical
carry
load, the mental load.
They
Yes.
carry the mental load. You're always thinking about what needs to get done. You're always thinking about the present, the future, sometimes the past, but sometimes the past is so blurry because everything just happens so quickly and you're just in go, go, go mode.
Mm-hmm.
And you're always just focused on what needs to get done, where nothing against dads, but they have the ability to relax more, and to focus on the kids at this time, and then kind of turn that off, and then whatever you're doing otherwise.
Well, that's what I learned, like I said just a few seconds ago, about the mental part. That you as a moms, I'm saying moms, I have a whole new respect for moms. I always respected moms, but I have a new respect for moms because you can't turn that light off. Like you were telling me, what was it you were telling me? Remember Axe got hit with the pillow and he was like, and you were like, now I'm going to be thinking about that all day while I'm at work. And I was like, relax, he's fine. And you're like, no, it's not fine. That's just one example. But with the boys, I really learned how, like you said, tell them about James's head being flat. Or how you thought it was going to be flat. First of all, it's perfectly round. It's not flat. The doctor said it's perfectly round. It's symmetric. But she had the little pillows for the boys because she was afraid that she didn't want James to get called pancake head. Axe already has a big head. But
first of all, Axe's head is jacked up.
Why?
It was for a while. It was like bigger on this side, then bigger on this side.
Oh, what did you think he had? Torticollis, yeah.
He did. He leaned all to one side for a long time, so then we're constantly shifting him to the other side. James, I think his flat head, which he has,
he doesn't have a flat head,
was his positioning in the womb. So sometimes you feel guilty. I can't control that. However, they decided to lay up in there, but sometimes people are nervous about flathead because you lay them down too much. You're not picking them up, and that's a stigma related to flathead.
Flatheads, yes.
So I was like, I didn't want people to think that we weren't like holding our children and we weren't picking them up, and they were always just laying in a swing somewhere. Like that's not the reason for his flathead. But
I have to say something also on that note. I think I remember saying something along the lines, not all the time, but trying to calm you down. Like, if they're laying down, that's fine because we're quarantined. We're in the middle of a pandemic. There's two of them. We have the toddler who, if you follow us on Facebook, the toddler was a menace to society. We love her to death, but she was a toddler in a house during quarantine and was just everything.
Yeah. And remember, I wore James around in that thing all day.
What, during quarantine?
Because
you were afraid about his head. Yeah, it's not flat though. The doctor said that it's perfectly symmetric.
It's getting better.
My goodness,
it's getting better.
Okay, so we're making jokes here. Let's get back to the serious stuff. So we're talking about the mentality of moms. All right. So this is something I really want to talk about. You and I talk about it here and there because I'm seriously so interested since you told me about it. Mommy groups.
Oh, yeah.
Now, mommy groups are a big help.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
does it ever go? Well, let's talk about the big help. What a mom or mom to be can gain from a mommy group. Let's talk about the positive first.
I was able to connect with people. I was like, okay, it's not just me. In a lot of different mommy groups and on a lot of different topics. So if I was worried about something, if I wanted to see what somebody else tried, we're not, you and I, people who run right to the doctor. We're not like doctor checkers for everything that's going on.
Yes, and if you are, that's fine.
Yeah, it's just not the way we are, even just for ourselves, not
Yeah. Oh
just for the
yeah. I'm
kids.
bad about the doctor. Yeah.
So it was nice to kind of just get a sense on what other people have tried. And it can be as simple as bottles that work or sippy cups that work that didn't leak or whatever. You could go and read the Amazon reviews, but you don't know who's writing on there. In a mommy group, it's a mom writing. So it was more trustworthy for me to go by. Also, there's sharing of, like, I've gotten lots of free diapers
Mm-hmm.
through with mommy groups. I've given people things that we no longer needed, so that they're going to a place where they're going to get used. And I drop off stuff to Goodwill, but there's something about knowing who it's going to. I don't know that person, but knowing that it's going to this home, it's going to be used in this home,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to maybe sitting on a shelf in Goodwill.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of positives and benefits, and some people just look for things with their kids, but even just mom stuff in general. Like, I've recommended my therapist multiple times on the mommy group,
Mm-hmm.
because they accept insurance, which is a big help for a lot of people. Well, they accept one type of insurance, but it's a big help.
But also the type of therapist too, right? Because that's
Oh
something
yeah,
you and I always talk about. Like your counselor or therapist has to be right for the way you live your life, the type of mindset you have. Is it a very well? How does that make you feel? Because that might work for some people, but for you and I, we don't want to be asked. We want just give us the hard facts. Give it
no,
to us hard. Give us the hard
I
advice.
made it on a side note. I made a joke in my last therapist meeting. I, Speaking of nice, I was like, and I made it nice. I made it nice. And I was like, do you watch Bravo? She's like, oh yeah, Dorinda. I was like, yeah. Like, so like we could like just side chat about little things too. So anyway, so they are a local therapy group. So I actually found them through the mommy group.
Okay, cool.
So I recommend them all the time. The dentist for the kid, which we love, recommended not only by our sitter or caretaker, but also in this mommy group over and over and over. It's recommended. So, and then people even go as far as, like, my husband needs to get to the dentist. Like, where do I go? Like, who's going to take my husband who doesn't really want to go, but
But that
he's
goes
got to
back.
go.
That goes back to what I said about how I learned that people, men. I'm a guy, so don't worry. Everybody, calm the hell down. Just to put it simply, may not get it, don't get it. And when you're in a mom group, it's just like, oh my God, my husband, he's a pain in the
Yeah.
ass. And then you have
You're like,
that
say no
unit.
more.
You have that, yeah, exactly. You have that unit, you have that support, and it just works. Right. Cool. Okay. Beautiful. So we've heard about the positives, and there are many more positive to mommy group from what I've heard. Now I have to ask, because I have to ask, is there a mom or the mom or a few moms who give unwanted advice, and can that mess with your head? Because here's what you've done for me in a positive way with teaching me about moms and the mentality that it is a mentality that most, if not all, moms have.
Is your hand
Sorry,
broken?
it might be. No, it's not. Most, if not all, moms have, just through instinct, through DNA. Okay. Is it, and I'm not knocking anybody, I'm asking, I'm curious, can it be fragile in a way? Because, like you said, like I said about when we were going to the beach, you were like, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I feel like I'm not doing it right. Can that one post, can that one piece of info just like throw off the train that is called motherhood in your mind?
Not in any of the groups that I'm in, but
Okay.
I've seen some people are very, very vocal
Mm-hmm.
and very opinionated in
Mm-hmm.
what they believe. And we know that there's been a lot of hot topics for that lately: pandemics, masks, vaccines, all that kind of stuff. The groups have rules, and there are moderators who, will limit comments if, something, or, you know, not post something, not approve something to be posted. But for the most part, I really think people are all there for the same reason. It gets a little dicey in a local group when you're a townie like me. And maybe there's something you just want to be anonymous about. Because
Okay.
maybe you're just not sure about something, or you
They know
don't,
your husband.
right, or they know your husband, or you don't want, um, you don't want an opinion or advice given to you based on who they think you are, maybe from high school or
Whoa, whoa,
something.
whoa. What is that? I got to ask that based on who they think you are. Go
Well,
into
because like
detail.
a 16-year-old me is probably different than 34-year-old me.
So, how does the opinion on the matter differ because of who they think you are? I'm just curious.
Well, maybe I was like crazy in high school. I don't know. And they're like, oh, yeah, she's crazy. Like, as they're like reading my posts, like, don't even bother. She's crazy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, and then other people are like, I've seen multiple times in groups where people are pregnant and they're like, please don't tell anybody if you know me.
What?
So, and then they'll ask the question, like, please don't say anything if you know me. Like, they'll put it at the top and then they'll say, I just took a pregnancy test. I, I already have 3 kids. I'm worried about the 4th, what it was like.
That sounds like
Tell me what it's like jumping from 3 to 4.
that sounds like a torch with gasoline all over it. Just because of screenshotting
Well, and then,
and what's true, and we all know this. What's true about a lie? Okay, but you can't tell anybody. Okay, but you can't tell anybody. Okay, and then suddenly everybody
and
knows.
There's not a ton of that in the local ones, that
Yeah.
more of the broad scope ones, but that other people maybe in your life, just because you could see other people that you are friends with are in that group too. So it's Facebook. Things are connected to work and travel. So
Right.
people do like preface things with that. So that's could be a downside. It's never anything bad happened to me, but I know, like, I've heard of them some times where it could have happened to me, but like someone will ask advice about doing something as a step parent,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody who knows the parent like screenshots it and sends it to the parent, like, oh, you're
my God.
you're being bad mouthed over here in this group or whatever.
Oh wait, because they're acquaintances, the kids.
No, maybe, or just like, all right, let's just take, I asked something, this didn't happen, I'm just making it up, but like, I asked advice about how to step parent, co-parent, and, having a tough time communicating with my stepdaughter's mother. And let's say somebody else in that group knows both me and Noelle. They screenshot it and send it to Noelle.
Okay, got it.
I mean, for me, that's not really going to happen because I don't think we might, I don't know, we might share people in common. Like, Noelle knows people from New Jersey, so that could happen to me. But
it won't happen because they get along.
Yeah, like, no. So I'm just throwing it out there as like, I know.
We promise.
I know that circumstance, so how it could happen, and I've heard of it happening.
Yeah.
Or people will come back in and be like, I can't believe someone, broke the rules of this group and screenshot it and sent this to my ex or whatever.
Gosh.
Those are the more broad. Like, there are groups. For example, I'm in like a mom of twins group.
Okay.
It's national. Actually, there might even be like there's like UK people in it or whatever. It's like a bigger
international.
Yeah, it's a bigger group. But so think anybody that's a mom of twins answers the 4 random questions they have, gets in the group. I'm in the group, Chelsea's in the group. So there's plenty of people in this town that have twins that could be in the group. I was in a breastfeeding group, and Mike's wife Jamie was in the group.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like, that was crazy.
Right. So you have to think, like, anything you could follow that line. Anything I were to post, she could then show Andy, and Andy could come back to you. If I was like, my husband doesn't support me breastfeeding, blah blah blah.
I did it to Mike, remember?
Yeah,
because she said that Mike left the coffee out and and Stella drank it, and I sent him the screenshot, and I was like, "Hey, you're fucking up, bro."
You just proved my point.
That was a long time ago, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. Yeah. So here's a question I want to ask you. Don't kill me, moms. I'm just curious. Like, I'm just interested.
Do you see my face whenever you start out? I'm like, what's it
Can the mom who gives advice, and this would go for dads too, because I always say that the one thing that can be misinterpreted, no matter how nice you say it, no matter how nice we ease into it, the one thing that can always be misinterpreted is advice about somebody's children. Can moms or do moms interpret the mom who's always giving advice about what they do in such a positive manner? Can that be seen as mom shamming?
Shamming or
Yeah,
shaming?
shaming. Either whatever. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that happens sometimes where somebody asks advice. There's lots of good comments, and then there's sometimes like that one or two that person might even comment back like thanks, but not really, our gig. Moving on or something like that.
Moving on.
Yeah,
That's rude. It's rude as fuck.
but I mean, sometimes people are nicer about it. It depends on how that person's comment came across, the original commenter.
Yeah.
So it happens. I don't think it's as like prevalent and it doesn't outweigh the positives of those groups.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I've asked my questions about mommy groups. You should ask me something. Or you're like, I wasn't prepared to ask you anything.
What daddy groups are you in? None. I'm in police groups. I'm in boxing groups. I'm in UFC groups.
I'm in a dad group. It's called
Dad
Facebook.
bod.
It's
You're
called. I'm in dad. What is it called? Dad transformation. Hold on. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen.
So it's just about dads and your bodies, not about like, hey, how do I feed twin boys at the same time? Dad bod transformation. See, and that's a prime example of moms are always thinking about the kids 24/7 and trying to get X, Y, and Z.
Dad bod transformation group. Get it? Yes, I'm in a dad group.
Yeah.
Okay. Dad bod transformation. Come on.
When was the last time they asked something dad related outside of your body?
So it's funny that you say that because there is a lot of times where dads will go not workout related, maybe marriage, maybe with the kids. When they have new kids, they post a picture like the newborns, and the dads do have hearts. We love our kids too. Like instantly, like 1,000 likes, right? Like happy for you, bro. Like whatever. So yes, there is a lot of. They'll start it off not workout related, marriage related, teenager related, whatever the case may be. But and that leads us into our next little segment, if you will. It's different for dads, right? Like we feel like we need to put something in front of it first. Not all dads, don't crucify me, dads, but sometimes it's like I'm in a workout group asking dad advice, right? And sometimes it's just harder for guys to be like, hey, listen, I'm having trouble with my marriage or my teenager, right? All right. I'm speaking as a dad who is learning with the teenager as I go, that sometimes it's just harder for us to be like, all right, like to just get in front of things. We just hope life takes its course in some way.
Your mom takes care of it.
And mom takes care of it. Tell them what you said about our sitter. Heaven forbid something happened to you. She would I would just be lost, and she would be like, "Oh, here's their lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, here I made their doctor's appointment." Just because it's a. But seriously, this is going back to what I'm learning, that it's like a mom woman instinct. Like the kids need to be fed, they need to be taken care of, doctor's appointments, wash behind the ears, all that stuff.
Right. I'm
seriously, truly amazed at what you've taught me and what I've learned about the mentality of a mom, and I have so much respect now for mom. It's not that I didn't before, because you know me. I mean, I hope you would say the same, that I try to be a good partner and stuff, but like I try to respect your mindset and the mindset of any other mom in such a different way now, because I'm going to use the example again of us going to Ocean City. When you said that, I don't know if I'm doing everything right. It's like, you're Monica, you're my rock, you're this rock's family. You had all the lunches packed. Like I said, the boys are fed, they sleep regularly. So for you to say, I don't know if I feel like I'm not doing things right. I was like I said, and if you ask me, I'll say it to your face. I say it all the time. I feel like women are stronger than men. I feel like they are the stronger beings. But when it comes to motherhood, it can be a fragile subject at times.
Well, it's daunting.
Yeah.
And I as I discussed with my therapist last night, I'm a perfectionist. So
Yeah.
even if on that trip to Ocean City, I had the bags packed, everything was organized, we had things in order, the kids were sleeping, we're listening to music, we're riding down. I'm like, oh, I forgot the second stick of binkies.
I knew you were gonna say
Then
binky.
I
Like,
failed.
oh, I forgot the binky that James likes.
Then I failed.
That's terrible.
Right, because I didn't have it everything. Now, granted, we do have a healthy relationship where you'd be like, it's we'll be fine with just the one. It'll be fine. You're not like, yeah, you screwed up, you suck. Like you didn't say that, but for me in my head, immediately, if I didn't have it perfection, I failed. So then I start to get lost in I'm second guessing myself. If I don't get it right, then what, am I doing everything right?
So you just made me think about something, and I hope that we can transition into the next statement / little segment with ease. So you said that I'm a good partner, like, oh yeah, whatever, it's not a big deal. Immediately, for some reason, I thought about, and this goes back to what I'm learning about moms and women in general, about Alexis, how she'll just kick it into gear at the age of 15, right? Like, I feel like that is one, because she has so many siblings, two, because she's just a caring soul, and three, because she is becoming a young woman. And in her DNA, it's like, oh, I got to kick it into gear. I got to help take care of these kids. I got to help out my
But
stepmom.
for the last 5 years, that's all she's seen out of her mom and I.
Right. But I mean, also, she's not like, oh,
No.
like, remember the one overnight where I missed my sleep? Thank goodness she was here. She's 15. For those of you that don't know, she has seven sisters and brothers. Six brothers and sisters. So she's not new to caretaking. And I woke up after 3 hours, and she had given them a bath, and they were fed, and they were happy, and they were playing with her, and I was just like. But again, that just I'm not writing a book here. Maybe I should write a book about my thoughts about how I feel. I'm learning that it's in your DNA as women to just take care of the clan.
Right. But I'm going to dig on you a little bit.
Yeah, here we go.
There are times when...
Just say it.
When I have packed all the bags, all the lunches, all the food for the entire day, brought it all out to the car, packed the entire car, and then we get to the car and you're like, well, did you have this? I'm like, oh no. Oh, come on. And I'm like, did you touch a
You
single
literally
thing?
just said I don't do that.
But like every now and then,
I don't think it pertains to the kids. Maybe if it pertains to us.
no, something like for the beach or like
not the kids. Not
like,
the kids.
But
like,
then I'm like, I just did A, B, C, and D. And
but tell everybody, 2 years ago that might have been sincere. Now I'll say it to you just to see you go, and then I go, ah, and you go PTSD.
Yeah.
But I don't mean it. I used to. A couple of years ago, when I was a motherfucker, yeah, definitely was me being an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm much better about it. But yeah, I think so. Do you think so?
I agree.
Yes. So, I mean,
and you can, unlike I think some guys, get 3 kids ready in the morning and out the door without me, like on like Fridays when you do it. You get them off to their second momish chill, but you do it.
Can I be honest with you? I've actually thought about this. It's not the same mentality that a mom would have. So it's one, because I love my kids. I love being a dad. I'm, been a dad. For those of you that don't know, I've been a dad since I was 16 years old. So I don't really know how to do anything else. I just know how to do it. But from you and I talking and the conversations we've had that have led to this particular episode, it's not the same. It's care and love first, about 40%, and the rest is me adapting that mixed martial arts, culinary, hospitality work ethic, where let me get this done so that I don't have to do it later. But the one thing I've realized more, a lot of people say, like, stay-at-home moms. Well, what does a stay-at-home mom do? A stay-at-home mom does a fucking lot, right? So let's use a Monday as an example, where you're saying, like, I get the kids to the doctor's appointment, this and that. No, I'm getting one task done so I can get to the next task, but by the time I'm done that task, there's another task. And that's what I'm saying, that the complete the tasks that you are on to the next objective comes into play. So it's not the same as that DNA mother nurturing, because you know me. Monica's like, make the special pancakes, make the banana, and then I'm like, a pouch and
give
some
them a
turkey and
pouch.
cheese.
Mhm.
Throw it at them, they're good. So that's where we differ. But like I said, it's
Right.
care and then just completing the objective.
But some women like wouldn't feel comfortable leaving their husband with all of the kids like I did when I went away.
Right.
Like for my girls' weekend.
Right.
Like granted, like you had a little bit of help, but like some people
I
wouldn't
was
even
exhausted.
some people wouldn't even walk out the door. They'd be like scared to death to do even like figure that would work out at well at all.
I was exhausted.
Yeah. It's
One of
exhausting.
my favorite lines is when was to Alexis, when, because I had all the kids, so I got the boys dinner ready. I got Jade's dinner ready. I go to Alexis. What do you want for dinner? I'm not really hungry now. You're on your own. That was it. That was your one chance. I'm not. You're a teenager. You're able to order DoorDash or whatever. That's it. Your one chance. Done. Period. So, what else?
I was just thinking of something else with that
Yeah.
weekend, and now I can't remember what it was.
The weekend you went away,
Yeah, what was it?
where you were checking on James's poopy diaper.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about the poop because I always want to know what the poop looks like.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a thing.
She comes home, I get a kiss, and did they poop? Well, not so much anymore because it's different.
Well, now we know they pooped. Now
Yeah.
was it diarrhea or was it solid? Because I mean, we never had a single one of these issues with Jade. It's these boys. There's an entire different way of doing things.
They
with
always
boys.
portray that in the movies. Like, you have a girl first by herself, and mom looks gorgeous, and the girl has a bow to match her dress and her shoes.
And now I look like this.
No, you still look gorgeous, but
but
I love that. I love movies or commercials that tell the tale of life so well. I think it's awesome. My favorite one that always sticks out is that I can't remember what it was exactly for, but the mom is at a baby shower and she has her baby and she's looking good and nice and pretty and the baby's looking good. And somebody's like, "Can I hold the baby?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, here's some hand sanitizer. Get a little on your wrist and behind your ears, a little bit on your cheek." Okay. And then it cuts to her having, I think, maybe 2 more kids or whatever. She had more kids and she's at uh, the car shop. She's getting her car fixed and she's in jeans and she has a tank top with the hoodie over it. And he's like, "That'll be so and so." And she's like, "Oh, hold on." And she gives the maintenance guy her baby. And then the baby drops the binky and she just picks it up and gives it back. Like, that's the second round or third round. It's just like, I can't really, it's just different.
You just got to get it done.
You just got to get it done. Right. Right. So one thing I wanted to tell everybody is, because you and I always post and talk a lot about routine and teen and sleep and that, I wanted to tell everybody, if they don't know already, which I'm sure they don't, that there's speed bumps. You have a meeting. I have a meeting. Our schedule is shifts.
I was going to say.
Oh, what about switching shifts?
No, I was going to say the difference, just to jump in real fast before you finish that.
No, go ahead.
The difference between a dad and a mom.
Yeah.
Hey, babe, after work, I'm going to get my hair cut, and then I got to roll by and see this house real fast, and then, or this storefront real fast, and then I'll be home.
Oh, me.
Yeah. Where I'm like, I got to leave right at 3 so I can get home. He's been home with the kids all day. It's a Monday. I got to get home. Really would love to get my toes done, and I really need a hair appointment, or I gotta go food shopping, but let me get home because he's been home with the kids all day. Not that you can't handle it, but like dads are like, all right, babe, I'll see you like after the kids go to bed.
I always feel bad when I have extra stuff to do. I do. Like when I was working in New York, first of all, we didn't have 3. We had 1. When you got pregnant, I started to get a little more nervous because Jade was a nut and you were getting bigger. Paternity leave, COVID, one of those weird situations where COVID worked out in our favor, that we were all home to get the boys to a good point. But then remember, I know that in my mind I tried to be a good partner when you went back to school and I was still home, because I knew it was going to be one of the toughest school years of your life.
Mm.
But now, yes, it's like, Tuesday night I try to go to kickboxing, and I think that if we're being honest, if you want to go to a class, I'd be like, yeah, it's fine.
You know,
You're just
completely. But
yeah.
I just
No, I know what you mean.
rush to get home, even though you're not like, you better get home. Like, you don't say that. It's just like, that's the mom guilt that dads don't always carry
Right.
as heavily.
I agree. I agree. I agree. And that's what I told you. I've learned that it's a completely different mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's tough being a mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really tough being a mom. Like I said, I really have learned it more this time around, and I will appreciate it so much more as a dad who's going to have two young ladies who, Lord willing, are going to be moms one day. I'm going to be like, I think I'm probably going to be nervous for them. Are you going to be nervous for them, or is that where the transition comes in, where moms kind of like they move in for a week, or they're there after school,
That's
or
why moms get it.
they like not. I don't want to say hover, but they're around. They're available.
Right. And, it's a blessing when you have someone that's like,
Jude B.
or just someone like a mom in general who, like, you don't have to even ask them. They just get it. Like, they kind of just read the situation for what it is, and like take Jade away to go play over here because you're trying to bathe the boys and she's jumping on your back. Like, if there's somebody's there who's a mom, they realize like, oh god, that's probably not a good situation. Meanwhile, you as a dad, you're like, Jade, from the living room, Jade, leave your mother alone. Like a mom's gonna come in and be like, okay, Jade, let's come over here, let's color.
Oh my goodness, perfect example. And I didn't even I remember thinking about it and realizing it at the time, but now years later I understand it so much more. So when I was coaching mixed martial arts, we did have a kids class, and one of the little boys got sick on the mat, and the mom was so embarrassed right off the bat, right? And the rest of the moms, I kid you not, jumped in. One got paper towels, didn't care that it wasn't her kid,
Mm-hmm.
cleaning up the vomit, and I remember that they were all part of the women's class. So the next morning, I was like, "Yo, you moms, like," and the one mom was like, "That's just what moms do." Like, the
Mm-hmm.
mom took her son to the restroom to see if he got sick again, and the other moms were like straight up just in there. One was using paper towels, the other one got the mop. Meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
me and the gym owner were just like, "Right, so
Yeah, it's good.
you want to work the underhook?" And so yeah, I remember that was like a perfect example of moms backing up a mom.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Well, I gotta be honest, that's really all I got.
I think it's a good stopping point.
It's a good stopping point too.
Mm-hmm.
So when we listen back to this audio, I hope that it sounds pretty good.
Or you can hear us at all.
Yeah, or you can hear us at all. Something that I didn't know because I don't watch sports. Probably nobody's watching because their husband wants the TV because it's the NFL draft. I didn't know that was happening tonight. I probably would have picked a different night to do this, and the power might go out before we get a chance to finish up. But yeah, so the book of parenting, that was kind of just to lure you all in. There is no fucking book of parenting. Let's wrap it up with thoughts. My thought is that, and I think you're kind of on the same page, where we both are really good about being like not thinking about the way parents parent their kids. And we're not saying that every parent does that, but one thing that comes to mind is, remember the snow day a couple weeks ago, and this random kid,
A couple of weeks ago.
I'm sorry, a couple months ago, random kid, parents are super nice. The kid tackles Jade, and the parents are like, "Oh my god!" And you and I were like, "Oh, no, they're fine, right?" Yeah. You and I at this point are just like this super relaxed. Kids will be kids. Everybody parents differently. Parents. And that would be my one piece of advice to moms and dads, is that really, I know that social media and TV and books and parents, in-laws in particular, can really make you give their advice, sometimes wanted, sometimes unwanted. Do your own fucking thing. And I'm using the F word because I want to put some intensity and some seriousness on it. Do your own thing. If your kids are happy, if they're safe, that's fine. Not every kid's going to be the athlete. Not every kid's going to be the straight A student.
I don't know what Jade's
Do your
gonna
own
be.
thing. We have no clue what Jade's going to be.
Didn't do great at dance.
Monica is
She's building castles at T-ball.
Monica's an all-star softball player, all-star softball coach. Me, I'm a mixed martial arts coach for quite some time now. I feel like I'm fairly athletic. Our daughter Alexis, very athletic. Jade
can't walk down the block.
Jade can't walk down the block. Jade gets up to the T-ball stand and goes, "Is everybody ready?" We're like, "Yeah." Oh no, what was her name? Liv was like, "Everybody's ready. Let's go." But just do your own thing. There's no fucking book. There's no perfect way to do it. It's what's best for your lifestyle, what's best for what you want to do. If you both work opposite schedules, just make it work. Life will go on. And if you're stuck on the sleep routine because you both work opposite schedules, you're going to blink and the kid's going to be falling asleep on their own because they're going to be out of the crib and in the bed and whatever. If you give them the iPad, awesome. If that works, do it. If you give them a pouch, whatever. As long as they're happy, that's my 2 cents. What about you?
Mine is follow your gut instincts.
Perfect.
Because it's never led us wrong, health-wise, emotional-wise, with the kids. If we went with something and it didn't work, we didn't think about it for too long. We're like, all right, we're changing it. Like day one when we came home with the boys, like that's not going to work, and didn't just overthink it. We just went with our gut, and I think that's always led us in the right direction.
Definitely, like I think that goes back to like, and if it doesn't work, don't say, "Well, they said in the group or in the book." You switch it up. That would be another piece. Just switch it up. That every kid's different. Your lifestyle is different. The lighting in your house is different. The energy in your house is different. If mom's stressed or dad's stressed because of work, I think it all plays a factor. So just roll with it. Figure it out. You'll find it. Well, that's all we have. That's all we have.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. Thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of Teenagers, Toddlers, and Twins, the book of parenting. Friendly reminder, there is no perfect way to do it. We'll see you next time.
Adios.